I'm not angry, you're angry. Oh!
Ah, we have a leak.
Oh my god. I think there's something down here with me. Ew. I hate this.
Hey, and welcome to the third episode of our old bathroom renovation series, where I, Bo, am trying to completely renovate this old bathroom as a bit of an experiment to work out if it's possible for someone with no experience and no idea what he's doing to tackle complex renovations like this that would usually take teams of trade experts. Hopefully from giving this a watch, you'll work out if you're capable of something like this, or at the very least, have a laugh at all the mistakes I make. If that sounds like your vibe, click subscribe. Now, so far all we've seen is a recap of the demo, which is now finished, and we're left with the blank slate you can see on the screen at the moment. Which means you can expect to see in this episode some plumbing, some structural work, and something I've done that could cost me a whopping $22,000. Now, any good Aussie DIY adventure starts with a trip to your local hardware store, Bunnings, one of my favourite places. Make sure you keep an eye on the screen because I like to keep track of time and money that's going into the projects. I would love to flash up that it took one Bunnings trip and half an hour to get everything I needed, but the reality is it took way longer and way more trips. I forgot things, I didn't get enough of things, and I had to return things. I'm sure anyone that's attempted a DIY where they're a little bit clueless can relate to this, but I blame my camera lady. She just spent way too much time with her head in the gutter.
I've been mature.
Bye, Bunnings. Officially done for the weekend, hopefully. I'd been dreading the first part of this project because it was going to take me on my hands and knees under the house.
Oh my god. I think there's something down here with me. Oh my god, there it is. Trade assistant on the job. Are you gonna help me?
My hesitance was justified when I immediately came across this.
Ew, that's so gross.
After only a small amount of gagging and whinging, I was able to get rid of the rat and get on with the real reason I was down there.
Oh, it's crunchy.
So this is directly under the bathroom, and you'll notice this joist here has a fair bit of water rot on it from a leak in the old shower. I was assured by people much smarter than me, in the know, that this rafter wasn't doing a whole lot. The slab above it is reinforced and spans the whole distance, so that's taking all the weight. But I'm still going to reinforce it just to be safe. And that's where the LVL beam that you saw me working on before comes into it. Essentially the process was cut it to length, and then I just popped a few screws in to make sure it stayed in place.
Oh yeah.
I could be talking out my behind, but I think this technique is called sistering the joists.
Yeah. No, that's gone.
Now, at this stage, you might be sitting there going, that was pretty smooth and seamless. Didn't this guy say he didn't know what he was doing? Let's just go back in time a little bit and see how it really went down.
Oh yeah. Oh you bastard. I'm not angry, you're angry. This is fun. Oh my god. Send it out. Look at this. Too many hands free. Guys, holy sh! Remember when I said I had too many hands? It was a lie. Oh yeah, fun there. Oh, I'm having so much fun now. This is great. Oh, look at my neck strength at the moment. I'm ready to get out of here so bad and have a shower because I stink like dead rat.
So with the old plumbing removed, I presumed it was going to be a pretty quick process from here. Just install the new plumbing and get on with my day. But turns out my walls were really wonky. You can see in this shot here just how warped the timber is. If the wall was straight, there wouldn't be any rocking on this straight edge and there'd be no gaps. To make sure I had a straight wall and not a bendy wall that would cause me future problems, I found the high spots with a straight edge, and then with my electric planer, I came and just nipped the top off. These shots probably don't give it justice how long and hard it was to get this wall straight. It took me a really long time and was hard work. This is an old house that used Australian hardwood, which, as the name would suggest, is hard. When the timber went in 60 odd years ago, it would have been soft and green and easy to work with, but over time it's dried out and gotten harder and warped and makes this a really hard job. Now that I had straight walls and not wonky walls, I could do the final bits and pieces before the plumbing. This included notching out some timber, adding some blocking for the plumbing to be attached to, and removing some blocking. It was a relatively smooth process up until oh, ow. I just punched myself in the face. After recovering from that blow, I could finally move on to connecting the plumbing. Quick disclaimer before I get into it, I'm not a plumber. I have little to no idea what I'm doing, and take everything that I say with a grain of salt. First step was a bit of prep work on the old copper pipe. I used these two tools to deburr the inside and the outside. If you skip this step, you can get some leakage and turbulence in the pipe in the future, which I presume is not good. So I use these Smart XP fittings, which I think are the same as Shark Bite in the US. And they're push to fit fittings, meaning you just push them onto the pipe and they're connected.
So easy you can do it with one hand.
And the individual fittings range from around $7 to $15. All the little bits and pieces I had to buy really stacked up in the end. It cost me around $240 for all the fittings and the pipe cutter and a few other little bits and pieces. So, more than I expected. One thing I found when I was connecting the threaded joints was that Teflon tape or plumber's tape didn't do a great job.
We have a leak. Okay.
I'm sure I just wasn't applying it properly or wasn't applying enough, but when I switched to this product here, I had absolutely no problems.
Didn't go as planned.
It's a thread sealant rated for gas connections, and essentially you just add it to the male connector, tighten it like you usually would, and no leaks.
I think it's worked.
I added a few final touches, and with that, the plumbing was done. So all up, this project cost me $362, roughly $40 for the structural work and roughly $320 for the plumbing supplies. As far as time goes, it took way longer than I thought I would, and there was a lot of mucking around and buying the wrong products and returning the wrong products and figuring out what I was doing. So in the end, it probably took me at least 2 weekends to get this done, which is about double to triple the time that I thought it would take, but that's okay. We live and we learn. And now finally, for what I did that could cost me $22,000.
Alright, talking and stuff, let's do it. So, one thing I didn't know before I started this whole job was that this is illegal. Yeah, doesn't seem right. As I recently found out, doing your own plumbing in Australia is illegal. And I suppose if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because I guess it's trying to prevent people doing dodgy jobs and then selling for cheap, and later down the track you have problems when you shouldn't. But still, feels kind of a little bit ridiculous. It wasn't the hardest thing I've ever done. Now that I'm saying it's not that hard, I'm sure in like a year's time I'm gonna be like, so there's a leak. I did some digging into it, and turns out for contracting without a license, I can be fined up to $22,000. Personally, I think it's a little bit ridiculous and there should be an alternative. In Australia, we're paying more for a house than we ever have. It costs so much and you just want to save a little bit of money by doing your own plumbing. That isn't that hard. It's just connecting a pipe with a fitting. It's not that bad. It's not that hard. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. But anyway, as it stands, I could be on the hook for $22,000. So, don't dob on me. But yeah, thanks for watching this video and make sure you hit subscribe so you stay up to date with this renovation and everything else I'm doing. And if you want to check out some more videos, then click on here somewhere. Yeah? Great. Bye.
What is that? Oh, there's a rock. Ow. Spider webs. Gross. Ow. Oh, I wish I was smaller.